Hello, friends. Scott Butler with Degrees of Sanity here, and Thousand Oxen Fury and Symmetry 96 and Temple of Freedom and everything else you can think of. um, Celebrating the 50th anniversary today of Deviation being released, October 2nd or October 10th, 2007. So 15 years today. Um, I'm waiting for Brandon and Sean are going to join me for this call, so we can chat about the the album and a few other things. So I'm not sure where they are. Send them a message. There's one guy. There they are. Sean,
Yo,
the guitar player. Working on
yeah,
getting Brandon in here. There we go. Here he comes. And Brandon Daniels. Here we go. Let's go. So, I don't know. There's not very much activity on this page, so we'll see if anybody joins in. But I was just saying before you guys got on, it's 15 years since we put out Deviation.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That
So,
has gone by so fast.
right. So I figured maybe we can just talk about the album a little bit and maybe even go through it song by song and just say a few things about each track. That
well,
might, little known facts.
Unfortunately, I remember drinking a lot of beer.
It happens. It happens. At the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. It was a good time,
Yeah.
but
For sure. For sure.
Dang. And we even have that video of you and Sean at the studio.
Yeah, we do have there's like a 10-minute video of like just a few different sessions from when we were making the album.
well, yeah,
There's
we
not
were
much.
recording that section. We were recording "Bathing Your Filth."
Oh yeah. When you were wearing your Johnsonville Brats
I
hat.
remember that.
I wear that hat for a reason.
Yeah, wearing the because you've got one.
That hat should say Johnsonville Smokies. Should, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it should, but it doesn't.
Should it? No, Sean.
Yeah, I think I was listening to "You'll Feel It Too" today, and I was thinking about, man, we need to re-record the drum tracks. I was just listening to a bunch of little things that I want to fix. Like, there's a couple songs I'm not really satisfied with. Like, "Get Back in Your Hole." That didn't end the way I wanted it to end.
Oh yeah, because it kind of faded out.
Yeah, there's just things that felt very unfinished, and a lot of it was because of what was going on in our lives at that time. Was really my life.
Yeah, there's a few things that were a little chaotic at the time.
Yeah, we were kind of in between drummers too.
Right.
And
right.
I know there's the one thing that always gets me is some of the small timing issues. Like there's one in Revolution.
Yeah, there's timing issues throughout the deal, but I think that we just need to go back and re fine tune it, re-record some tracks. It wouldn't take too long, but definitely I think
if we could find the hard drive that has all of the Pro Tools tracks on it, that would That's really what we need to do.
Scott had it. What happened to it?
I had it. I don't know. I moved around a lot, and I got divorced, and a lot of my crap got lost. So.
Oh, crappy.
Yeah. So
Well, we could just
might
say
be.
screw it and just re-record the whole damn album.
Maybe
That would be that would require money.
Yeah, for sure. Of which you ain't got none.
Yeah, right now I definitely don't.
have any.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
haven't
you were
anyway,
making that Douglas County money back then.
No, I'm making more now than I was then. For sure.
I was gonna say I haven't even been able to fork out the money to recover from my stolen equipment.
Right.
I got myself a small little bass amp, but
Yeah, that sucked, dude, because you had some good stuff and someone just yanked it.
Right.
yeah, someone was a dill hole.
There's a lot of them out there. Yeah. Well, anyway, let's not rehash all that nonsense. We'll just talk about it. So, like, first track, You'll Feel It Too. Do you remember playing that in high school?
I do. I remember when that was written in between.
Oh yeah.
Some in between classes and some like during the time that they'd give us when we could go and practice our techniques in voice class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we were writing songs, like metal songs, while we're like, you guys aren't practicing your technique.
I remember you guys playing that in Highlands Ranch and thinking to myself, how much potential that song had, and I just always thought of different things that I wanted to play and add to it, when I got the opportunity.
And then you did.
Yeah. You remember when we would do that thing live?
Oh yeah. Right.
Doing the hand tricks. Yeah. Exactly.
That's really hard to go to.
Yeah.
Top.
Thought it would be cool, but it wasn't exactly practical.
Right. Yeah, we probably could have practiced it a little more too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I remember playing that in Matt's basement quite a few times and in your living room.
Right. I know we got a video of us somewhere playing like I think Mission Hills Battle of the Bands, where I think we might have debuted that song there. Maybe. I don't know.
Mission Hills Battle of the Bands. I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Back in the day.
Isn't that where you played March of the Millennium?
I think we did it there. Yeah, I think we did it there too.
You might
talk
be
about March of
thinking
the Millennium too.
You might be thinking though of that video.
Maybe that was in Castle Rock.
Yeah,
that's Rock Extravaganza. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
I
wish I had that video somewhere. We'll get to to March of the Millennium here. How about Get Back in Your Hole?
Wow.
Yeah, there's things I still want to fix, because that ended up being a song that I started writing with Jason. What was his last name?
Jason Lauren.
Jason Lauren. Yeah, Origin Unknown was a little thing we were trying to.
Yeah.
It never even went anywhere, but hey, it was a start.
Right. I remember writing the lyrics in the studio with Michael, and like I went in, like we're like, all right, here's the lyrics. Like we'd each throw a line in, make sure it rhymed, and then I'd go in and record it. And then like when I sang the first verse, the actual recording of the first verse that you hear on the album, while I was singing it, the second verse hadn't been written yet. So it was very much on the fly.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I feel like I remember Sean and I both kind of took some thoughts and stuff that we had about, the subject matter of the song, which, was having a grumpy dad.
I think grumpy's not the appropriate word.
Always whooping
funny.
ass.
You guys were approaching it from that, and I was approaching it from
dealing
with inmates and my and the guy who was my supervisor at the time that was a huge jerk.
Right, right.
So
What's
kind of
the lyric from that? Like subordination.
borderline insubordination. His best
Yeah.
borderline insubordination. I'm like, shut the hell up.
Right.
How's that? Is that borderline insubordination? Oh, anyway. March of the Millennium. You know what was
Well,
fun about that is getting everybody to come over and do the gang vocals.
yeah, that was fun. I remember.
And Michael even had his daughter come from upstairs, and she was singing
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, there's a few people there that when I hear it today, I can still pick them
Sandra.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was enthusiastic for sure. I remember Jeff Gorman was in there. Like most of your siblings.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. He was like, I need a bunch of kids, Michael, to come in to sing, to yell on this. I'm like, all right. Ask and you shall receive.
Round up the Daniels family.
Right. Revolution.
Man, yeah. That was another one of those songs that that was created during high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's another one that
during those classes.
I think we need to do some fine tuning on.
That one came together pretty well, though.
Yeah, I mean, most of the song, I would like to redo my solo.
Yeah, that timing issue we were talking about, but
yeah, with the flange.
Well, we'll talk about fine tuning and fixing the record another time.
The evolution of a song is crazy because it's
the
crazy
evolution of revolution.
Yeah, I mean that's one of them.
Right.
That song has definitely evolved quite a bit since its inception.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot. I listened to an early demo of it, I think, when I was going through stuff that we could release as like bonus tracks and things like that, and a lot of it is like no one ever needs to hear this, but it was interesting to listen to. Especially like the old midis that we made of those songs. And
yeah, that's another aspect of a lot of these songs is that's where they originally began.
Right.
Or like we would take what ideas we had and work on them in MIDI format.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting for sure. I'll Find a Way. I remember I'll Find a Way took a long time to come together before we went in the studio. When we were in the studio, by the time we went in the studio, it was pretty well together, but there was a couple of live performances of that were pretty rough.
Well, we ended up writing a lot of stuff on that on that actual song and ended up getting it to the point to where we had it really tight. Like we finished it pretty well, I'd say.
I think that turned out pretty well on the record. That was I've actually listened to the original demo I made of that song recently, and it's okay, but it's definitely changed since then too.
You know, some of the commentary that we've never really touched base on, you know, with these songs is really what some of them are about.
That's true. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe we should go back and, you know, yeah, You'll Feel It Too was about kind of broken relationships and, you know, like most songs are about.
Yeah.
Get Back in Your Hole, I think we touched on what that was about. March to the Millennium was, here, let me see if this works.
I'm trying to hear it.
We didn't do the pick slides live. We should in the studio. We should have done that. That's all right.
Yeah.
It makes it fun live. It is on that live at Andolini's
Yeah, well, we had actually,
recording. So
we'd actually written
March,
that after the fact.
right.
That was
March
like a permanent
Millennium.
change.
That one kind of evolved a lot as far as what it was about. You know, when I first kind of put it together, I was thinking some things that would be cool, which turned out to not be cool, and you know, trying to come
Yeah.
up with an
Well, I
original
mean,
idea.
and during that time, that was like Y2K.
Right, yeah, it was like '99. We were writing that, and so it was coming into the next millennium. So that Revolution was kind of about 9/11,
Right. And a lot of like the
being
Bin Laden Al
pissed.
Qaeda stuff that was happening at the time.
Right, because it was right then around. I think the demo I have was late 2001, so it was right around that time. Anyway, I'll find a way. Also, broken relationships,
big time.
Right. Next is I Am Death.
Crush in the specialty department.
What's that?
That song always spoke to me a lot because of the girl I had a huge crush on when I worked at Whole Foods.
I Am Death?
Yeah.
No, I'll find a way.
Oh, I thought you, okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, I'll find a way for sure.
Yeah.
What?
I hear that.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, you remember I had this huge crush on a girl named Beth.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
remember
crazy.
that. Yeah.
I do. I remember that as well.
Ended up marrying a guy that worked in bulk, and they're still together, living in
really?
Washington. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Been keeping up, I see.
Well, I mean, that was the last time. It had been years. Honestly, dude, it had been probably 12 years since I talked to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Good times.
For sure.
I Am Death.
Okay. So that one.
I listened to I Am Death today. That has some pretty rockin' riffs.
I was gonna say that's still to this day probably one of our heaviest songs.
Yeah.
Heaviest.
That was Daniel's.
fastest,
It was Daniel's favorite to play live.
Speaking of Daniel, where is he?
Oh, Daniel's still around. He's playing in another band.
Oh.
Yeah. You got tired of waiting for us, I guess.
Isn't it Caldera? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But I guarantee that if we wanted to play live, he'd be there.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was his favorite. We're always like, Daniel, what do you want to play? I'm Death. Okay. So like that was pretty much at every single live show that we played with him. What's that?
And let me finish the question.
Right. Hey Daniel, I'm Death. Yeah, that was pretty much every live show we played that one. Because Daniel liked it so much.
Yeah, that was good. That was one of those MIDI songs, and the lyrics from that kind of, I don't even remember what really inspired the lyrics. Just that, we were trying to be badass with it. I think trying to think of something cool and hardcore. And
yeah, it's not really very hardcore. But,
no, not really.
Yeah.
I mean that's high school lyrics, though. You know.
Right. I remember writing that in your computer room at your parents' house in Lone Tree. I remember sitting there on the computer like, all right, here we go.
Well, plus, I mean, I remember writing it at your parents' house as well.
Oh yeah.
Some of the lyrics, trying to get those jotted down.
Right.
Do not do that.
And,
Alejandro Lopez, bienvenido.
What's that?
Yeah, one of our friends is watching.
Oh yeah, cool.
Anyway, I remember hearing that very first that intro for the first time. That's something that's still one of my favorite riffs to play too. It's just freaking badass.
And what riff are we talking about?
Yeah.
Talking about I Am Death?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always liked the harmonies in there.
Yeah. That kind of some Metallica style on that.
Yeah.
Right.
That one came out pretty good in the studio.
Yeah, I remember using the drum cadence from the marching band.
Oh yeah. Yes. I
I was listening
remember
to that
hearing that
today.
too.
I'm like,
That's
yeah,
vital to
so
the history of that song.
right, for sure. So, and I
Which
think
is
this guy
weird
Ed wrote that.
how that translated.
Right, worked
Of
out well.
course, bathe in your filth.
I
We
even
already
told
know.
the guy that.
We're not
That
talking about
came up
Bathing Your
with
Filth.
it.
We're still talking about I Am Death.
Yeah,
I know.
we'll get there.
We were talking about I Am
I
Death,
told
though.
the guy that wrote that I was going to put it in that song, and he's like, "All right, cool." So, all right.
Cool.
Hope You Disappear.
Well, that Sean can talk about that one. That he had a lot to do with that.
Well, that one initially was written about a crazy ex-girlfriend that I had, but I think she was just causing a lot of problems. So I think you guys took the liberty of being like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna turn this into a song."
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I based it on. So
pretty much everything that we've ever like talked or joked about, be like, we could write a song about that.
Right. And a lot of things we have. So, yeah, that one was one of my favorites and how it turned out in the studio, and to play live. Just like the end riff was just so much fun to play.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me see what the preview is on Amazon Music. Coming up.
I feel like this one started out as a MIDI.
Yeah, I think we did make a MIDI of it.
Yes, we did, because I remember the drums.
Yeah.
And I remember Matt Campman playing it all the time when we were in band in Highlands Ranch. He'd just bust out with the drums and the double bass and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. All right. What was Hope You Disappear? Oh, we talked about what it was about. So, Bathe in Your Filth.
That one was Sean's baby.
Would you like to talk about the purple mushroom?
No, not on live. Yeah, that's funny. That was
the only song
there
I've
was
ever
a lot
done
of
that has that phrase in it.
There was a lot behind writing that song. Like, I was really hardcore fueled. So, yeah, that came out a masterpiece. It was pretty awesome.
Purple mushroom for me.
Right.
Or were you going into the vocal booth just to go, ha ha?
Yeah,
and to say, woe unto the liar, for they will be thrust to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be, you're playing with somebody's life when you're lying about being on birth control.
Right.
It's crazy.
For sure.
Yeah, she's going to have to pay for that someday.
The part that I was just saying, there's no more shit you have, bitch.
There's no more. Oh, yeah. I was just messing around. Like I was done with the lyrics.
Keeping it.
Yeah. I like that he, that was my way of telling Michael that there's no more vocals. You can stop recording. I'm done. So that I was just, there's no more shit you have, bitch. And he's like,
I like
that's
that.
staying in. Yeah. Michael, and for those of you that don't know, was a producer that recorded the album.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah, for sure. But I never played weekend. Even after Sean took off to Texas, we kept playing "Bathing in Your Filth" stayed in our set list for a long time. So
yeah, that I left Texas back in 2010.
yeah, Sean, Brandon, Daniel, and I kept playing that song live. I think that's one of the ones we played at the Fillmore.
Yeah, we did
I think
play
it
that.
is.
Yeah, I think we played that. We played "I Am Death," and
That's the
what else
one.
did
The
we
one
play?
clip that we got from that show is "I Am Death."
Yeah. I don't remember what the third song we played was. So yeah, Vinnie Paul saw us play "I Am Death" and "Beating Your Filth," and
Yeah, Vinnie Paul, that was
It's
cool.
probably Revolution, if I had to guess.
might have been. Let's see here, Bamfs.
Bam.
I remember taking our acoustic guitars around and like playing Bamfs for people on the acoustics, like pretty much anywhere we could go that people would listen.
Night shift
Like,
at Safeway.
There's a video of us doing it like in a 7-Eleven, like in like next to the candy and stuff. There's videos of us doing it outside of like Safeway and
Yeah, our friends over at Safeway that work night shift, they loved that. It was pretty awesome.
right in a Safeway parking lot and yeah.
Too bad we don't have those videos, man.
Yeah, I wish we did.
It'd be
There's
awesome.
a lot of videos I wish we had still, but it is what it is. Yeah, I started writing lyrics for that at one point, and then just decided, let's just leave it as an instrumental.
Yep. Badass motherfucker sandwich.
Right. Let's see. Edge of Dawn.
Well,
I'm glad that we put this on there.
not a whole lot can be said from us regarding that song because that's definitely a you song. But we did kind of add some to it, since we joined in, like that last double time riff.
Right. Right. We the original version of that is now released as well, the original Symmetry version. So
I will say
finally,
that's the song that piqued my interest and made me want to pursue trying to play music and find an opportunity to join your band.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was the first real song that I was like, this is actually pretty good. That I wrote. Yeah, there's a couple of that I wrote. There's even songs on the Symmetry album that I wrote before that are like, I'm glad that there's official recordings of them. I don't plan on ever playing those songs again.
You know what? You know what made me really want to join the band?
What's that?
All the times I heard you guys play Detroit Rock City and the harmonies got messed up. I'd be like, I gotta play.
Let me do it.
Give her that. Anyway, so yeah, that was like I was 15, which is crazy. My stepson is 15 now. Like I look at him and I'm like, I don't see him. He does other things. He does drawing and video games.
You know what?
Yeah.
Zoe is almost 21.
I know. It's crazy. She'll be 21 in February, right?
Yes, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. That is.
But yeah, it's crazy to, I'm sure, look at him and be like, wow, that's what I was doing.
That's how old I was when I started. I played my first show when I was 13. So,
well,
I mean, I was
believe it or not,
a week short of being
believe
14.
it or not, when we played BAMS, the opening part of BAMS, I wrote that about Zoe. That the opening of that song, that acoustic part was written for her.
But before it got heavy?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. It's true. That's where it came from.
That's
I did
awesome.
find a recording, a demo
Pretty
recording of me
appropriate.
playing one riff. It's like rock riff, it's called, I think. And it's like it's me playing, going before we went out of the.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, and
Then we had
Goddess of the Flowers.
that crazy part in the middle that it always catches
Right.
everybody.
Yeah. It's really funny, the recording of that. Michael's intern is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Why is that in there?
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
That makes no musical sense.
Right. In Edge of Dawn, it wasn't really about. It was another, I was 15, 16 years old when I wrote those lyrics, and it was like I was just trying to write something dark and ominous, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, see, and I think that's what I was trying to do when I was trying to put in my 2 cents for the I Am Death lyrics. I was trying to make it something dark and badass, and
Right.
no, I am death. Look into my eyes and tell me what you see.
Look into my eyes.
Exactly.
I feel it in your soul. You're afraid of me.
Yeah.
I'll get you in the darkness.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. Yeah, so I don't know. It's fine. It's not like I'd ever go back and change any of it. But some of it, I'm like, ew. Hope nobody hears that.
It's history.
Right, exactly. James Hetfield hates the song Escape. That's his least favorite Metallica song.
Escape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like embarrassed by it.
Why?
I don't know. He just thinks it's terrible.
I feel like I saw that in one of those recent articles. Something about that. But I didn't read it to find out which song it was.
There's a clip of them playing live, and they're like, "What do you guys want to hear?" And Kirk Hammett's like, dun, 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 dun. And he's like, "No, absolutely not." Hetfield's like, "Nope, not gonna happen."
Well, thankfully we don't have any songs like that.
Right. I was just gonna touch on Goddess of the Flowers real quick. I remember writing that with. Part of that was written while I was jamming with you and Jason Lauren. I was kind of playing the chords and kind of figuring out some melodies and stuff while you guys were just jamming, and we were just all kind of playing together. And then it turned into this song that I kind of used to jab at somebody without actually jabbing at them. I was hoping they'd hear it and feel the jab. To this day, I don't know if they've actually heard it.
I haven't talked to Jason Lauren in years.
Yeah. Meow. I love mommy.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. But he was cool, letting us come over to his house and jam in his basement.
Yeah. Interesting guy. I got a recording. I got a recording somewhere. I think I actually have a digital copy of it, of Matt and I playing Shout It Out Loud at my parents' house and recording it.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason Lauren does the "You Gotta Have a Party" part. I was like, here's what you say. He's like, here's what you say. You come in, he's like, Gene Simmons goes, "You got to have a party."
I remember.
And then he comes in, he's like, "You got to have a party." I'm pretty sure I have that. Maybe I should post that sometime. Be like, "Jason, where are you?" And then one of the recordings of on the Symmetry album, I put some demos that we recorded in like probably 99, 2000, something like that. And we do the O&P of Fat on there. And Justin Morehauser is like, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Symmetry." And And they're like, "Brr." And Cameron's like, "What?" I'm like, "Your riff." Oh,
Justin Moorhauser. Damn.
yeah, yeah, old school. Well, anyway,
I guess that
That's,
concludes.
that concludes. 15 years ago, we put the album out. Months and years of work. It was crazy.
Yeah.
We have some of them even recording in his living room.
Yeah.
So
Pretty sad though that during that time of 15 years we lost Michael, the guy that recorded us.
right.
He was a
That's
cool dude.
That's a bummer. He is a cool dude. Master Lock.
Master Lock Morrissey.
Yeah. Did you ever see the post I did on the Degrees of Sanity page for him?
I don't know.
Little tribute. Let me see if I can find it. This is a fitting time to read our tribute to Michael. I did one on my own too, but is this the Degrees of Sanity page? Let's see here. Come on now. See if I can find it real quick. There's not a whole lot of. There's us live.
What now?
So there's us live. Found it on the Degrees of Sanity page.
Oh.
Let's see here.
He's crawling up the stairs.
Oh, I bet it's on photos. Photos.
Oh no, we lost Sean.
Oh no. Sean. Sean.
Sean!
Seriously?
Sean.
Oh, we're talking about something completely different now.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you dropped off.
disappeared,
So.
and I was like,
Yeah, it's
where'd
because
Sean
I
go?
accidentally dropped my phone. That's what happened. I dropped my phone and it kicked me out of live. I went, what the heck?
It's all good. Got the chickens ready. MICHAELMORRISS. Michael Morrissey. There we go. Let's see if this comes up. Posts. Ah, geez. I don't know if I'm going to go find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right.
You know how many times I thought about going to mom and dad's house and trying to find that box that we used to write all that stuff on and take pictures of it?
Yeah. It's mom and dad don't have it. I guess Uncle Mark has it.
He has that
Yeah,
box?
that's what,
Yeah.
in theory, yeah.
That's what she said.
That's the word.
And I didn't realize
the
that.
word on
Otherwise,
the street.
I probably would have gone over there to find it by now. See if they have it. Honestly, the only thing I remember from that box is that picture of my face that Sean drew.
Have you seen this, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that, and then I drew a picture of Kathy.
On the sides of
Oh,
my
yeah.
head.
With the Sean, get the chickens ready.
Yeah, I wrote that on there because there was a time period where me and Scott were like the only ones that would hang out because you're always gone. You were in Castle Rock with Jenna. Like, you pieced out for like years.
With who? You say
Jenna?
Jen?
Or Jen.
Yeah.
That's before
Here,
Jen.
I found it. So a picture of Michael, and it says, "Our hearts are heavy. We are deeply saddened by the passing of our amazing friend and producer, Michael Morrissey. Michael produced, recorded, mixed, and mastered our album Deviation. His influence on it and on us was profound. The world is a darker place without him. Rest in peace, Master Lock. The DOS boys and family love you."
Nice.
So there you go.
Cool.
So anyway,
Well,
I'm
happy
gonna
15 years,
wrap this
guys.
up. Happy 15 years to Deviation.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to do another record.
I think
We got one
awesome.
working.
Yeah.
The
We
Farkers
do have
album.
one working. It's just not Degrees of Sanity. Hish.
Yeah.
They're our alter egos.
Nobody
I'm
knows
sure
it
that any astute listener would be able to figure it out, though.
for sure.
Yeah. We'll
There
still
is
have to
more-
open for ourselves.
Yeah. There.
You know what I was thinking about doing, in all honesty, is going to like a comedy place and telling
Yeah.
the story about Clark Park and Charkin before actually like playing it, and then playing the song so people could laugh because they would think it's so funny.
Right. So I don't want to make it too fucked up, but I think we should play Fud the Destroyer on Kilo on Loud and Local.
Is it even finished?
No, not when it's done.
Okay. I was gonna say it's not even finished yet. I thought.
Right. Yeah, when it's done. That's why I don't want to muddy it too much. I think that it would be pretty amazing to hear the
I'm
Hawkers on the
all
radio.
against it. If you can get them to play it, sure, man. Why not?
I can get them to play it. Everybody tune in. All right, so I'm gonna shut this off. I'll give you guys a call in a little while and we can chat some more.
All right.
So,
Sounds
thanks
good.
for watching. Anybody that is tuning in,
Peace out.
and you'll hear from the DOS boys soon.
That's right.
Peace.
Don't forget, you guys are all badasses.